I got a lot. I don't know. I mean, pills is a fat one. Because, like, yeah, that took away, like, a whole, like, year of my life. But other than that, just how I treat people when I get mad, or, like, talk to people when I get mad, like, kind of disregard how they feel just because, like, I'm in a bad spot, which I don't do anymore. I got over that, but that was more when I was, like, younger. But probably that.
My greatest regret is not going within myself sooner. Because if I would have done that, I mean, I'm 21 years young right now, but it would have saved me a lot of heartache, pain, struggling, not wanting to be here at one point along in my journey. That's my biggest regret, is not finding myself sooner.
Yeah, same. Not finding myself, not listening to myself, not trusting myself and my gut, my intuition. That's it. That's my biggest.
Absolutely.
Because that's all you have. That's all you got.
As I said in one of my TikTok videos recently, to go along with what we said here, the way out is within, is to go within. So meaning the way out of the depression, you know, that people might be experiencing, the anxiety, the heartache, the pain, everything it is that you're experiencing that you don't want to along your journey, the way out of that is within. Right. So.
Absolutely.
Not doing better in school. In high school, it was football and girls. I ended up with a lot of C's and maybe a B here and there, but I could have been all A's if I'd done my assignments. Took my books home and never opened them.
Not being me at an earlier stage of life and taking action on that.
My greatest regret. Wow, that's a tough one. You got time? I guess would be because I have a tendency to be a little to procrastinate somewhat. So not finishing things I think that I could have benefited from, things that I could have taken advantage from, opportunities that I had. I don't want to name them all, but there's a few. Yeah. I've been lucky in my life to meet people from all over the world, the type of job I had working in D.C. I've had opportunities to do things, and some of the things I didn't take advantage of. So I think I do regret those things.
Okay, that's a hard question. I guess my biggest regret is not going after the things that I could have had the opportunity to do. I've had the opportunity to go study abroad, I've had the opportunity to go to other schools, better schools, but
I actually don't have any regrets, if I'm being honest. I don't really have any. Not a single one. I'm pretty happy with most of my decisions.
I mean, I'm happy with my decisions. I guess looking back at it now, I have regrets, but I probably wouldn't change anything I ever did. So I guess I have none either.
I don't believe in karma or ultimate randomness or ultimate accidents. So although I do own some bad behaviors and mistakes, I believe Romans 8:28, that God works all things together for good of those who love him, so those who are in Christ. So, I think it's a beautiful tapestry of God's grace for his glory. If I could change anything just in the way of, understanding that God uses us instrumentally and we don't want to just walk out in front of a bus because he's a sovereign God, I probably wouldn't have squandered my 20s on trying to find my happiness in anything but Christ. There was a lot of wandering and drifting and sort of anchorlessness. But if I had done that, I wouldn't have married my wife at 33, and I wouldn't have my 3 perfect, beautiful kids who I love with all my heart. It's hard to say I'd change it. Yes, the Lord has worked it for good. I'm happy with it. I own my mistakes.
Maybe feeling like I have to be so sure with every decision I make. I don't know.
I feel like, my regrets are never maybe not stepping out of my comfort zone more.
yeah, I relate with that a lot. Not trying hard in my sport that I played growing up. I think that if I put the amount of effort that I do in other things in life, that I could have done something with it. I played soccer.
Probably being angry all the time, or a lot of the time. Probably not taking time with family and friends when I should have.
Probably staying upset at myself for too long.
Yeah, or being too hard on myself. Yeah.
Not traveling before I had a child most likely. And buying a house. Buying a house settles you into one place. And I kind of look back and I wish that I would have just gone and not been afraid to just go the places I wanted to go. My mom told me before she had her brain injury and stroke 3 years ago, she said, I asked her, I said, what would you do differently? So she was like 75, 76 at the time. And she said she would travel more, hike more, be outside more. It has nothing to do with the tangible items in life. It's the experiences. Yeah.
Oh, God. God, no, I love my Honda Pilot. My biggest regret. Probably something hurtful I've said to someone else. That'll probably be my biggest regret. It's probably happened a few more times than I should mention, but I let my emotions get ahead of me, and then I ramble on, and when I get mad, I try to hurt the person next to me, and it's not the best way to go around, so I'm fixing that. I try to keep my mouth shut. Yeah, I think that. What was the question? My biggest regret is definitely intentionally trying to hurt other people, because just because they did that to me doesn't mean I need to do that to them. So,
dropping people I once loved out of kind of struggling with mental disorders. So I dropped a lot of people. That's my biggest regret, and I'm kind of scared to talk to them again. So, yeah.
Coming to college with a boyfriend.
Oh my God.
I broke up with him 3 weeks after I got here. Everyone tells you not to.
Yeah,
and then
true.
you think that you're going to be one of the ones that makes it. No, he long distance. Yeah.
It never works.
It does not, usually.
I don't think I have any regrets.
Yeah, that's good.
My regret is like probably being like rude to some people. Like I'm just kind of a brutally honest person, and I just like I'm like kind of upfront about everything that I think, and I like people like don't always take like the right way, and so I wish I was like better at like communicating with people.
I'm not gonna lie, I've had a lot of regrets. I think my greatest one though is gonna be more of a vague, not realizing that I wasn't being myself for several years. I laid a lot of my personality on one person. I let myself essentially try to be someone else, and I locked away my emotions. I locked away thinking, living in the moment. So my greatest regret is simply not being true to who I am. But I've overcome that.
I like to say that I don't have regrets, but I feel like everybody does and they just don't want to speak about it. I try really hard in school, and I try to do the right things most of the time. But I guess like my early regrets, maybe high school, I wish I maybe applied myself a little bit more when it comes to schoolwork. Or not that I didn't get good grades or I didn't do well, but I feel like there's certain sports, there's certain things regarding my health or even school in general that I should have just been like pushing harder at, like when I was younger. But like yet again, like I feel like it's easy in hindsight to look back and then say I should have done this or should not have done this. So I feel like there's always gonna be regrets and things that we wish we could have done better years from now.
Biggest regret, lashing out at people I care about, you know? It's kind of difficult because people seek help and sometimes you just don't really know how to provide that help, and it's frustrating and you just sort of get upset.
Moving here? No, I'm kidding. Not staying in touch with friends. I moved a lot throughout my life, and I've only stayed in touch with maybe like 2 of them, so probably not staying in touch with people. Yeah.
I'd say biggest regret, it's not just one moment, but just caring what other people think throughout life, and because of that, not like exploring things in life. Just do whatever you want. People's opinions don't hold yourself back based on what you think other people might think.
Your answers are so much better than mine.
No. But yeah.
Well, I'm learning not to regret. That's part of my journey, not to have any regrets. Through meditation, mindfulness, realizing that I did what I did and it was what it was. I can't change it, nothing I can do about it. If it's something that I hurt somebody a long time ago, maybe I can say I'm sorry, but to regret takes away all your it's a negative energy. It's, doesn't allow you to have your positive energy if you're constantly worrying or saying, oh, I was wrong, I did this wrong, it's the wrong path to go.
I don't have any regrets. I always tell Pam, all the time. I said, I've had past relationships and everything. I said, well, that if they didn't work out, I have no regrets about, doing it or having it. And, I'm just enjoying my life. I make sure I just treat everyone the way I'd want to be treated. I try to be kind. I do training, so I enjoy talking to people. You can see I do enjoy talking. So I don't really have any regrets in life. I mean, everything I've done, I've enjoyed, most of it. And
you gave it your all.
I gave it everything I had. And, I really enjoy life. I really do. I really enjoy life. And I met Pam about a year ago. So to meet somebody so special, like later in life, is just so important. Really very happy. So no regrets. No regrets.
Probably my regret is not having a little bit more guidance and a little more support to do some of the things that I wished I would have known when I was young. But it took me all my life to learn. But I did learn, and it took so long. So I guess I have many regrets. I regret not doing something that was significant. And I don't mean in a bad way. I mean in all good way of it all. But yeah, something significant. But I'm not done yet, so I just didn't get that when I was young. My regret is I wished I would have got it when I was young. Had more energy.
Ooh, my greatest regrets. My greatest regret is sort of pushing people out when I'm just sacrificing in terms of like what I need to do for the most part, because I always think I'm never good enough just because of the result from my upbringing and all that stuff. In fact, I had to grow up a lot faster, and as a result, it just made me a lot more isolated and aloof as a result from that. But I also had to take on further responsibilities in terms of having to grow up faster and just taking on further responsibilities than that, and made me miss out on like just knowing what it means to be happy, really.
My biggest regret, I gotta think about that one. Give me a second. I mean, it's not my biggest regret, but one of the regrets I had last year was I didn't apply for FAFSA because I decided to pay out of my own pocket, which, I feel like I wish I should have taken FAFSA and actually applied for it. But I'm doing that now, so next year that won't be a problem. But yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't really think about that stuff that much but if you really got to think about it, I think that you should never think about regretting things. You see, when you think about time, here, Jamin, watch this. Jamin, this is gonna be a fucking great answer. Think of, time, it's as a continual block. It means you really have no free will. So you shouldn't regret things because your choices are predetermined.
My biggest regret is looking back on something that I know I could have done better. I'm an athlete, so if I lose a game, I think about the shots that I missed instead of the shots that I made, different positions that I should have been in instead of positions that I was in. Especially with watching film, it does do a lot of help. But as a person, I think of that on the day-to-day basis. If I said something to somebody, did they take it how I wanted them to take it, or did they take it some way different? Because you can never tell from somebody else's perspective. So I guess that's my biggest regret, is seeing myself in somebody else's shoes before I say something.
I don't have a whole lot of regrets. I mean, I've been very fortunate, privileged. I've lived a really good life. I don't know, man. I mean, probably some work stuff, but that's not really even consequential in the grand scheme of things. I don't know, man. I can't really point to something. I feel like my dad died when I was pretty young, and I learned to live, to try to enjoy things and he was full of life. And he's 43 when he's passed away. I'm 48 now. And so I've outlived my dad, which is a crazy thing when you think about it. I've lived past the age that he lived to. And it's pretty wild to think about that. But it's also inspirational to kind of okay, I can do those things that he never got a chance to do, or I can have those conversations with my wife or my kids or my friends that, maybe he never got to do. So not so much of a regret, but definitely certainly some things that if you think about what drives you, because I don't really want to think negatively, I want to have positive energy. It's not my intuition or what's my natural inclination. I'm not an optimist. I've learned to be that way. And I think that's a good thing when you learn how to be positive and how to be how to find inspiration in moments. So no regrets. You ever seen that tattoo? It was a good joke. Sorry.
I think my greatest regret is probably just not, like, my family fell apart and everything, and like afterwards I was kind of left on the back burner, and I think my greatest regret was sort of like giving into that grief and like starting a destructive lifestyle rather than showing up for myself and making a life for myself. I mean, my life right now is terrible, but like I could have gone to school and, you know, I would have been much better off financially now and a little more stable. I think that's probably my biggest regret, is just wasting time over nothing. Yeah, not investing in myself earlier.
My greatest regret.
Who had a child,
Same.
But I don't regret the child, but just the person.
Just the person, because, oh, Lord. No,
it's the truth.
Spicy.
Tag him in it. Say it.
Not for real. Adam. Same. Same. That baby daddy, don't have him. Do not have a baby daddy. And I put that on me. I'm saying it to the camera, to the viewers. Don't have no baby daddy, especially not early. Just wait. Wait on it. You'll find you a good man, a good father. Wait.
I mean, there are a lot of regrets, but my biggest one is choosing social life over academics. I think if I chose academics, social life will come to me anyway, but if I choose social, no way I'm getting academics, you know?
My biggest regret is not taking the risk to pursue my true passion in like comedy and social media like earlier on, because now I'm kind of making up for that time not taking action. So it's not taking that risk. Yeah, I'm part of the comedy club here. I'm a like director for sketches. I haven't done any sketches this year yet, but I just got elected last semester. And yeah, I haven't done much stand-up lately, but I mean, I love stand-up. The first time I actually performed stand-up, I was so nervous that I vomited twice before going on stage. Yeah, I had to, cause I had just worked out, I ate, and then I just like tried to drink. And I feel like that concoction mixed with the nerves, I was just like, but yeah, like people laughed, so it went well. I wasn't expecting people to say it was good, but never, so every time that I've ever performed stand-up, everyone always laughs. So that's been like motivating me to keep on going.
That I didn't go to school at Penn State. I went to school at Indiana, and I always wanted to go to Penn State, but I went with my sister to Indiana, and I've always regretted that. My mother went to Penn State. A lot of my family went to Penn State. I'd been up to State College before. It was just kind of a place that was calling home, so to speak. I chose not to do that. I went to Indiana, where my older sister went to school, and I've always regretted that.
Probably just not doing well, you know, at first in college, and just having to go through all that where I basically flunked out. So just that regret of not being successful there, but overcame it, so it's all good. Probably wouldn't be that much different. Yeah, I know, right? And I've had people tell me that before too. It's not like I was not a success per se. So.
Not having more kids. Well, I got a divorce and never did meet that right person to have another child with, but I do wish I had more children. It's the only regret. He's all grown up, so I'm waiting for him to get married and give me grandchildren. And he lives in the mountains. Well, he's in Oregon now, but he's been in Denver for years. He calls these the hills.
I think that I didn't spend enough time with my grandfather before he died. The last years I was remote from work, remote to him, and so I could not join him even if I knew that he won't have too long anymore.